Good evening, chiefs, matriarchs, respected women, honored guests, friends new and old, and especially tonight's awardees. Welcome to the Polygon Award in First Nations Art. My name is Lisa Hegeman-Yakchinas. My ancestral name is Koyas Walthlalgidunk. I am deeply honored to stand here as both your host and as someone who has walked this same path, as a practicing artist and as a past recipient of this award. We begin by acknowledging our presence on the unceded traditional and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. It is a true honor to be here at the Roundhouse, a space that tonight feels alive with creative energy. To gather in celebration of the artists and the communities that hold them up. To open tonight's ceremony, we are grateful to invite program alumnus, friend of BC Achievement, and the 2023 Award of Distinction recipient, Walukton, to welcome the awardees.
Osiam, Walukton, Queenshna, Scottmish Oath, and I come from here I live in Capilano, we call Hamaltson. I grew up in Statmas, which is Upper Squamish, by the base of the Chief. And my father grew up by where the water runs off in Chikai, where the dirty water comes from, into the clear water of Chiakamis River. So, and also partly Namgis on my mother's side. And I'm happy to be here again. Wow, the time goes by so fast. Got my eye on this guy here. I have one of my boys who also was a recipient. His name is carrying the name Walukton also. We share the name. And the reason why we do that, because when we move on to the other side, then someone still carries the name, right? So I share the name with one of my boys here. He's doing really well in the art world too. I think he's surpassing me now. Well, I'm just kidding. Anyways, it's always happy to be seeing all the other artists. You know, we got other artists here that are, hands up, how many of you are in here that received it already, your recipient? Oh, yeah. Anybody from Musqueam here? Put your hand up. Oh, yeah. Tsleil-Waututh. Anybody from Tsleil-Waututh here? Well, yeah, I got Salish here. Yeah. Scottmish Oath. Am I Scottmish? OCM. Anybody from Haida? Oh, we're going to go down the whole list. OCM, thank you to Polygon, Michael, Adane, and Neil. Nice to see you guys. And on behalf of the three nations here, the host nations, I'm going to share a song, a bit of a welcome song, and also like the blessing of the floor, you know, for the good work that we're going to witness here and the ones that created it. Because all I say is, as an artist too, it's not just me that creates the work, it's coming through me through the ancestors. And I believe that, because sometimes if I get stuck, I just draw, let it happen. If we let it happen, you know, like a writer would, if they start writing, they just write. Then as they go back and have a look at it, they start tuning it up, and it just turns out to be an awesome story. So I always keep that in mind when I do work. Okay, Wishkesh. Oh.
hope che we I chaya. Hope che we I chaya. Whoa, hey, 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 we I chaya. Hope, che, we I chaya. Hope, che, we I chaya. Whoa, hey, 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 we I chaya. Whoa, whoa, ho, 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 hey, whoa, ho, 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 hey, whoa, ho, hey. Whoa, ho, 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 hey. Whoa, ho, hey. Aha, aha, yeah. Whoa, whoa, ho, 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 hey. Whoa, ho, 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 hey. Whoa, ho, hey. Whoa, ho, 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 hey. Whoa, ho, hey. Ah, yeah. Yo, yo, yeah. Whoa, ho, yeah. Whoa, ho, oh, yeah. Hoo, yeah, yeah. Whoa, ho, yeah. Whoa, ho, yeah. Whoa, ho, oh, yeah. Hi-yo. Let's eat. Let's eat. Let's eat.
Thank you, Hawa Walakton. I would like to encourage all of you to begin your amazing meal now as we begin our proceedings. Hawa. It is a joy to be here with all of you this evening to uplift this year's recipients of the Polygon Award. I know what this moment feels like. The mix of gratitude, pride, and humility that comes when your work is seen and celebrated. To those watching online, welcome. We're so glad you can share in this moment wherever you are joining us from across the province. We are grateful to TELUS Optic TV for this partnership. Tonight, we are here to honor the 4 incredible artists whose work reminds us how powerful creative expression can be. As resistance, as remembrance, and as renewal. Awardees, please stand as I call your name. Rebecca Baker-Grenier. Gordon Dick. Crabtree McLennan Emerging Artist Awardee, Carrie Morgan. In Haida culture, when you make a mistake on someone's name, you have to pay them. Somebody please have my wallet ready. Award of Distinction, Lawrence Paul Yokwalupton Letzloxtelton. Are we okay? Good. Okay. Okay. I know how much courage it takes to share your work, to put a part of yourself into the world and trust that it will be received in the spirit in which it is offered. I wanted to take a moment just to say that many long years ago in my own artistic journey, I was awarded a Paris residency. And I know that for all of us who are carvers or weavers or painters or beaters, that we sit, for the most part, quite alone in our creative journey, be it at your kitchen table or your living room, or if you have a dedicated studio space. And there's something within you that encourages you to continue on this pathway. And I arrived in Paris to these, I think it's in the neighborhood of 200 artist studios all in one building. And no matter when the creative urge hit you, you could look out your window and there would be lights on. If it was 3 a.m. due to jet lag or inspiration, there would be a light on and somebody else was creating. And that meant so much to me because I could feel that connection of all these other people who were following the same path. And year after year, if I'm in Vancouver, I try to attend this award ceremony because in this room, I feel like that same feeling of artists who are traveling their own path alone get to come together with those people that uphold them and lift them up. And it encourages all of us to continue on that path. So hawa to all of you for being here tonight. I would also like to, as part of that greater community that upholds us, to warmly welcome the families, friends, and communities who are here tonight, those who have supported and believed in these artists through every stage of their journey. This year marks the 19th year of this remarkable program. Since it began, over 100 artists have been recognized, each one contributing to the powerful story of First Nations art in this province. Every year, BC Achievement produces short films honoring and preserving the stories of each recipient. These films are more than tributes. They become part of the living archive of First Nations art in BC, an ongoing dialogue between artist, place, and community. Just so everyone knows, these are also available if you haven't had a chance to attend year after year and see the videos. They are available on the website to watch, and it's really amazing. Please, if you have the time, take a chance to watch them. We are deeply grateful to Polygon Homes for their vision and long-standing support of this award. Their commitment allows these stories to be told and shared far and wide. I raise my hands to Michael O'Dane, Neil Crystal, and all of Polygon's guests joining us here tonight. Thank you for standing with our artists and our communities. Please join me in welcoming Michael O'Dane to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad at my table people are starting to eat their dinners, so don't let it get cold. Go ahead. But it's my honor to be here today, and I'd like to greet all chiefs and elders of all nations, ladies and gentlemen. Both Polygon Homes President Neil Crystal and I are so delighted that our home building company is once again able to sponsor these very important awards. This is the 12th time that we've had the opportunity. And I agree that these awards are very important, as only on the Northwest Coast can one see such superb art, which is connected with our natural world, made by people whose ancestors have been creating both beautiful and sophisticated art for thousands of years. And I say this because since I was a child growing up in Victoria, I've always taken a great interest in the art of the original peoples of our coast. And one of the things that I've learned from First Nations elders is that all creatures in the sea, in the air, and on the land are related, and that we share this planet, which was granted to us by the Curator. And this surely means that we should treat each other with respect, whether we are bears, killer whales, frogs, beavers, salmon, eagles, ravens, or even human beings. I've also heard it said by First Nations elders that if people can see your art, they will know who you are and what you consider important. And I understand how much the First Nations of BC really respect the natural world, because I see it so often reflected in your art. Excuse me. I would like to congratulate this evening's 4 award winners, Rebecca Baker-Grenier, Gordon Dick, Carrie Morgan, Lawrence Paul, Yapswell Upton, Letso Teslatun. I'm sorry, I'll get it right, Lawrence, one day. But Lawrence's name, it keeps getting longer. So anyway, thank you to the artists for keeping alive a great tradition of art making, which I thank you for sharing with the people of British Columbia. But if I may, I'd like to add a special word of congratulations to Lawrence Paul, who's going to be honored this evening for his lifetime devotion to art making. And I say that because way over 35 years have passed since I was first struck by his forthright depictions of the struggle of his Indigenous brothers and sisters for recognition of their rights. Some people back then were shocked at the intensity of Lawrence's art, even questioning his unique painting style. But today his work is not only respected from coast to coast in Canada, but is valued by some of North America's most important art museums. And I can tell you, Lawrence, that I'm so glad that Yoshi and I have had the opportunity over the years of living with your art, and congratulations for what you've achieved for this province. Thank you so much. In these present days of international turmoil, it is more important than ever that we all reconcile past injustices and work together to protect this wonderful land bequeathed to us by the Curator. Those artists being honored this evening are leaders in this cause. So, again, my congratulations to the award winners, and a big thank you to each and every one of you who are here tonight from all over the province of British Columbia. And I'd also like to say a special word of welcome to my friend, the artist who I've admired from very early on, the artist who's at the top of the list, the first recipient of this award, Robert Davidson, whom you're going to hear later. It's so wonderful to have you here tonight, Robert. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael, for your generous words. And I know that everyone here this evening joins with me to thank you and Yoshi for your leadership and steadfast support of arts in BC, across Canada, and beyond. And I'd like to add congratulations to you, Michael, on receiving the Freedom of the City recognition. Your vision has opened doors for countless artists and strengthened the cultural fabric of our country. We are truly grateful. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Wilson, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you. Welcome to BC Achievement at the Roundhouse. It's opening night. Nights like this remind us of why we gather, to honor artists, to celebrate their stories, and to recognize the impact they make across our province. To our 2025 awardees, congratulations. Tonight is about you, your craft, your voices, and the stories you carry. At BC Achievement, we believe in the power of storytelling, its ability to connect us, inspire us, and open new ways of seeing. Your art, your work, embodies that power. How did we arrive at this spectacular setting surrounded by your art? It begins with the nominators, many of whom are here this evening. Thank you. You fuel the work we do. And for those of you wanting to join the movement, you too can nominate. We've just launched the 2026 call for nominations. Recognized, remarkable. Nominations are open until February 15th, 2026. So within that time frame, by next March, our program directors will be deep in the nomination review process, because all of you are going to nominate tonight. And they'll be preparing for the independent juries that select recipients across our 5 programs. Our volunteer juries are deeply committed, rigorous, and guided by the expertise of program alumni and advisors. This year's First Nations art jury was formidable in its commitment. Please join me in thanking James Harry, Thomas Canal, and Lisa Hageman Yukianis, and program advisors Connie Watts and Brenda Crabtree. As a not-for-profit, or better said, a social profit, BC Achievement relies on donor and partner support. If you are inspired tonight, and I hope you are, please consider visiting our website to make a contribution. Every gift helps us discover, celebrate, elevate, and support artists, leaders, and their communities across British Columbia. This year, the foundation invested over $100,000 in art commissions and prize funds for 3 of our 5 programs, in addition to producing more than 15 short films celebrating the awardees. Tonight, we are pleased to share that the Polygon Award recipients will receive a $10,000 cash prize as part of that investment. Recipient recognition is integral to BC Achievement's mission: elevate excellence, share success, and inspire change. We are surrounded by a stunning and exceptional exhibition showcase. Thank you to the collectors, galleries, and artists who made it possible, and to Sheila Hall and Ray Hartley for curating it with such care. And of course, none of what we do is possible without the community that supports us, including our dedicated board, represented tonight by its chair, Walter Pela, and board members Christopher Gaze, Aisha Amaji, and Kim Vanderwoord. And together, we extend our heartfelt thanks to Polygon Homes and Neil Crystal, as Michael mentioned, for over 12 years of philanthropic support for this program. TD, with thanks to Michelle Green and Adam Hanneman here this evening for supporting 2 of our Indigenous programs. KPMG for supporting our emerging artists through commissions and for its major philanthropic gift. And our community and media partners, Denby Fine Arts Services, the Roundhouse, Inkamik Wine Cellars, Global TV, and Stir Magazine. To our volunteers at Table 22, thank you for your time and generosity. And to the BC Achievement team, whom I am honored to work with daily, Roop Gurwal, who directs the Polygon and Sam Carter programs, and colleagues Kristen McDougall, Angela Marston, and Kathy Tam, along with Jane Caddick, who leads all our event productions this fall season. Thank you. And to Lisa and her family and her beautiful daughter, thank you for your warmth and generosity this evening. Finally, Simone stole my heart earlier. Finally, to the 2025 recipients, congratulations once again. This is your night. Enjoy every moment. Your journey with BC Achievement is just beginning. Thank you.
Simone will be on the mic later. Just so you guys, as some of you don't know, we're going to be babysitting in 15-minute increments. Table number 8, you're up next. Thank you so much, Hawa, Catherine. Tonight's award presentation is the culmination of almost a year-long process. For each awardee, as Catherine shared, the process begins with a nomination. Nominations are already open for next year's Polygon Award in First Nations art. If you know an artist whose work deserves to be seen and celebrated, please take a moment to nominate them. It is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to uplift someone. For guests here in the room, you'll find QR codes on your tables. For those joining from home, there's a code on your screen, or you can visit bcachievement.com/nominate-now. Help the foundation uncover and honor the remarkable artists shaping this province. You will also see over on this side of the room the works from the 2025 Sam Carter Applied Art and Design Award recipients. We are delighted to have this year's emerging artist with us here this evening, Tyler Goyne. Welcome. Along with awardee Mario Powell. Next Tuesday, we will be celebrating these Sam Carter awardees, and we invite you all back here to join us. The evening will be hosted by our friend Fred Lee, who is here this evening. Welcome, Fred. Fred is currently on babysitting duty. It is a fun cocktail reception style event with chef stations, also catered by Lazy Gourmet. It is a wonderful opportunity for our community to gather again in celebration of our creative economy. Tickets are only $50 and available on bcachievement.com. We would love for you to join us. Before we begin the awards, we will have a short break, get to know everyone at your table, and we will begin the awards shortly. Hawa. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a chance to enjoy your dinner, the company at your tables, and this beautiful atmosphere here at the Roundhouse. My thanks to the Lazy Gourmet and Incamique Cellars for tonight's meal and wine. Just to note that some of the artwork on display here tonight is available for purchase directly from the artists. If a piece has spoken to you, and I know many will, please take a moment to connect with Roop. Supporting these artists means investing in living culture. And now, the awards. The first award presentation is the Crabtree McLennan Emerging Artists Award. This named award salutes the contributions of both the late, great, and much missed Bill McLennan, and those of Brenda Crabtree to First Nations art in BC. Brenda is unable to be here with us this evening and sends her personal congratulations to all the awardees. This year's recipient exemplifies the strength, skill, and promise in both her sculpting and her painting. The totem pole in particular earned unanimous praise from the jury for its craftsmanship, design, and technique, a testament to her training and the traditions she honors. Please join me in welcoming to the stage this year's Crabtree McLennan Emerging Artist, Carrie Morgan. We'll be dancing later. I am now honored to welcome a 2021 award alumnus whose public art carries First Nations stories into the heart of our cities, translating tradition into contemporary form and ensuring that each work reflects our ways of working. With deep appreciation for his artistry and leadership, please join me in welcoming James Nukoyos Waluckton. Oh, I'm gonna have to pay. James Harry.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Carrie, your work shows that traditional art is more than a visual language. It's a medicine for the soul. Drawing from your ancestry, you bring the truth in every design that you create. As an emerging artist, your approach reflects the strength, promise, and a distinct voice that you carry in your practice. Congratulations on all that you continue to bring forward. Thank you. And now, please turn your attention to the screens.
My name is Carrie Morgan. My Nisga'a name is Kalajach. I come from the House of Quiskine. I am a First Nation fine artist. I do paintings, murals, carvings, textiles, all forms of art. I made this necklace. My grandma, she loved hummingbirds a lot. The rest of my family got this tattoo design that I did in memory of my grandma. Archaeology, anthropology, art history led me towards wanting to go and explore the world. I've lived in Kenya, Honduras, Thailand. Seeing their artwork drove me to learn a lot more about my own culture. A lot of our family are carvers. My uncle, my dad's uncle. It was more of, I really need to do this. The eye is very particular because it's how people connect through the souls. You want it so that when you're moving around the carving, the eyes look like they follow you. And I get that sometimes. I went to Frida Deasing and I learned under Dempsey Bob, Ken McNeil, and Stan Bevan. It was nice to be around that environment where everyone is so dedicated to our traditional arts and learning.
Carrie was a very serious student when she started, worked hard at the fundamentals. She really had an eye for design and painting. Carrie took the challenge of doing a small totem pole. Totem poles are very time consuming and there's a lot of work into them because of the sculpture.
I really enjoyed making the faces. They have so much angle. The shadow really makes it pop. That looks really striking. This is one of the first pieces where I started playing around with where things will kind of go together and how I would use the background space. And it wraps all the way around to have S shapes on the back. A lot of backside to the body. So I decided to do this like feather technique to make it catch different angles of light, having different pieces flow different ways. The shapes are still traditional, but the way that I used it is different.
Well, I heard from the first year teacher, Carrie's not doing it the way I'm telling her to do it.
I was trying. My solo exhibition I had in Seattle at the Stonington Gallery called Post-Apocalyptic, play on the pandemic. Where would our artwork be now if it wasn't outlawed until 1956? This one was my rendition of face masks that everybody was wearing during the pandemic. There's the 4 elements together there. So the 4 elements, mountains for earth and the water, the waves, fire in the air. Playing around with cubism, the secondary here, the light blue paint here, and the water just curling over itself, cut in so that it looked like it was connecting and disconnecting and coming back together like fire.
Joining shapes together, S shapes to U shape, ovoids and S's and T's, incorporates it all into one. So when you walk in, it is a space of its own.
It was just me playing around. It is playful. I just keep creating the things that kind of pop to my mind and keep myself a little bit more inspired, push my own boundaries.
That one was my favorite one because ovoids break up and shapes break up different places. That's how box designs are. And this is a different way of saying it.
This is the drawing of a totem pole that I will be creating shortly. And the way that I've designed it is a little bit different. They're interlocking like a chain. The wings are actually over top of the head of the wolf. Then his paws are over top of the raven's head. It actually helped me with my Gitwin Silk totem pole. I did a 3-figure totem pole for my home village in the Nask to welcome people and explain a little bit of our history to them.
Putting up the totem pole and celebrating in her community. She was with their people, speaking to the elders. I was very proud of that. You have to continue to learn.
I'm always a student. We have such an amazing background. Our stories, our art is amazing. Nishka people are strong. This is my Yet George. He's a strong man, very connected to our culture. When I was born, my Yet saw me and said I was a wolf. And so he adopted us into his house, Quiskain. I designed this in memory of him. I know that my Yet would have loved it too. Everything just needs to flow and have balance, like reflection on the water. Feel like it is important for me to be proud of who I am and showcase who we are and all of our stories and how strong we are as a society.
Each generation has their own way of seeing things, and art can't stand still. The important part is that we're bringing the art back into the culture, and that's what Carrie has done.
don't know how I'm supposed to talk after that. That was my first time actually seeing that movie. Funny thing is, I was actually really concerned about how the movie was going to turn out. I I just got over that really nasty cold that happened a couple months ago, and I still was at the end of it, and he was flying all the way up to Terrace, and I was like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do it for you, I'm sorry. And I've done many videos before, and I was really concerned that it actually wouldn't turn out good, or I wouldn't be able to tell a cohesive story about what was important to me, why I do things, and I am so happy that that actually showcased a lot of like the reason why I do things. And honestly, me having this award tonight is just such an honor, and I'm so thankful for everybody who's always backed me in my art career. My friend Danielle, who actually was the one who always pushed for me to get nominated. My family, who's amazing and so inspiring always, like no matter what kind of art that they showcased throughout their life. I've been sewing since I was 6 because my mom, and she loves crafting. My dad is very artistic and very like innovative, and my family comes from a long line of carvers, and I'm just around it, and it's just kind of how you're brought up. And then for me to go to Frida Diesing and me to be surrounded by amazing teachers like Stan Bevan, Dempsey Bob, and Ken McNeil. And even to my amazing friends, whether they do art or not. I did happen to go to Frida Diesing an amazing year where I got to actually be there with my friend Roger Smith, who's there. He's another amazing artist from Haida Gwaii, and so many other friends of mine that were there to learn our craft. And I'm just so thankful to actually have this moment where I can be here in front of everybody and kind of actually have through the video and myself to explain what this really means and why we do this. And thankful for all the people who put this on, all the volunteers, all the people who are in charge, and all the people who actually spearheaded this whole thing. Thank you so much for this. Tack
Congratulations to Carrie. And now for tonight's second award. As a jury, we were struck with this artist's bold carvings and use of color, which creates movement and harmony that are rare and technically difficult to achieve. The sculptural depth and execution in these pieces go far beyond relief carving, resulting in work that is both conceptually rich and visually compelling. It is my honor to introduce the next Polygon Award recipient. Please welcome Gordon Dick. And presenting this award is 2023 award alumnus Cloth Bay, who, when asked if carving is easy, responded with an emphatic no, but softened his reply by sharing that it is a way of life that demands time, learning from elders, learning the songs of ancestors, and relearning language. Please join me in welcoming Cloth Bay to the stage.
Wasia Mensiaya and Sukhwaidal, at Lasberg, Queensland. Chenwa Khwaita, Hamas, de Nochomeo. Chenwa Khwaita, Schoolbeschuld and Stomochsna. You want heart these days, and you want heart that eats up. Good evening, my dear friends. What an honor to be here as an alumni to present this award to Gordon Dick. You know, I received this award a couple years ago, and it was really kind of surreal for me. And when I was done my turn here, I felt like I didn't have a chance to, thank everybody for my award. So if you don't mind, I'll just say a few thanks about that. I'm just kidding. But thank you for coming to this land here, and this is a real special, powerful place for our Squamish people. This place over here is called Sanauch. It's our village over here, and we now know it's False Creek. But over this place here is a supernatural place where the Sisuth or the Senokite. Hey, Uncle Robert, how you doing? It's Uncle Robert Davidson, man, the godfather of art. Look at that. I love it. All of our inspiration. But this place over here is where the sea serpent used to come and go, as our people know. So we're in a real special place for a real special evening to honor some special people. It's a supernatural place here this evening. And so, where is it? Anyways, need to talk about Gordon for a second here. And how can you not just have your breath taken away if you've seen the work that he has on display tonight. Is an absolute inspiration for myself and for many artists, and rightfully so. The recognition is due as we can see the concepts and the dedication that you put into your artwork has that energy. It has that spirit that you're portraying, and we like to recognize your efforts and what you're portraying for your people through your artwork. I want to be just like you one day. Gordon, you really carry forward your visual language of your T-shot New Channeled culture with precision, humility, and beauty. You began as a self-taught jeweler and have since created masks, panels, and poles, and carvings that honor your heritage and keep its stories alive. So I say to you, congratulations, Gordon, on this beautiful evening and well-deserved award, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Awesome. Oh. We're supposed to watch a little movie, so just get out your Kleenex because this one's going to be even better.
Uklama, Tima'a, Sayatu, Tsashat. My English name is Gordon Dick. I'm from Tsashat Nation, New Channel artist. I started in precious metal. My other medium is wood carving. My grandfather, he always enjoyed wood carving. Put a chainsaw in my hand at a very young age. Okay, Gordy, you gotta cut this. The nation of Tsashat was doing a call out for artists to apprentice Tim Paul. He's a world-renowned artist. It was in his mind, and he would just do reference lines, and to have that experience was eye-opening on a large scale. The head feather draped over the face, it pulls your eye around the whole piece, and you see the knife marks, the chisel marks.
Gordon has his own particular style, the attention to detail, and the craftsmanship of his work. It's so intricate. It's a very high discipline.
Deciding to pierce this, it's another layer. The reward is that movement, separation, more shadow.
His creativity, his technical skill, his vision, he's very fearless. He's not scared of a challenge.
This panel that I'm going to refurbish, teaching foresight. It's referencing the salmon return and fishing with my grandfather at the mouth of the river. And my grandfather would pull the fish up, wraps up the net, And I say, well, Dad, why are we doing this? He looks at me, gestures. We have more than enough for us and our friends. The rest is for the lake. They're for your grandchildren. That's a great memory. The Chinook fishery was right here. I would get cold and tired, falling asleep. My grandfather would just say, okay, lay down. Once he started taking more fish out, I would wake up and I would start helping. My grandfather was teaching me the importance of that conservation, that respect to nature. We need to remind ourselves. This is a carving of a migration of the Iachtup, calf's tail from the mouth of the moon. My grandmother says, oh, well, you know, with the moon, it's going to be good tides. The moon controls the water, which controls the salmon. We would celebrate the return of the salmon. We would celebrate that Iachtup, that great being, that great mystery, that whale. You know, it's such a massive being and it disappears right before your eyes. It's that great mystery. I don't compete with nature. I just try and listen and pay attention. You know, old mom would say, Tlako nas, face that first light. Be thankful for the day that's in front of us and be thankful for what was provided. I'm thankful. In 2010, I was asked by my nation to create a totem pole acknowledging residential school survivors. First time that I was overseeing a project of this scale with myself and my good friend, brother there, Eric Glendale.
It was just the two of us. There was a lot of depth, a lot of flow, a lot of movement. It was impressive.
This elder heard about us carving the pole, says he's an artist. He said he was sent to this residential school here. Henry, he was just a boy. Supervisor went and took his pencil and then paled it into his hand and then beat him unconscious. He woke up 3 days later in the infirmary. And then he went back to carving. I feel like this was our obligation to try and do our best to create something for the neighboring nations as well as ours and realize how fortunate we are. It was coming time to move this, so we did a call out and all these individuals showed up. It was like the equivalent of everyone having to lift 250 pounds and then walk. That's pretty impressive. When you have that support in that community, you know, that pride, that can be accomplished. Some heirlooms here that were my great-grandfather's. The D-ads still holds a great edge. I've never sharpened it. A pair of entry doors for my community's administration office. Took that profile and enlarged it. And those are the handles. Voice of our ancestor, reminding us the importance of our voice for our young ones. My son works for our nation of Sashat. He was just a little boy when I created these. Another generation that's in there helping guide and shape our future.
People that taught us, our uncles, older brothers, they were not selfish with their knowledge. Gordon is one of those next generation artists who is carrying on not only the artistic style, but what it represents, carrying on that tradition and creating beautiful things.
I can say I'm a better artist for knowing him.
I'm very honored and thankful to be amongst all these talented individuals to keep our culture moving and alive. We've always been here, and we still are here.
Click-o. I just want to say once again, I'm thankful. This is, to echo my Nana Nexu, my old mom. We will always keep moving and evolving, adapting, just like nature. And that's who we are as Koas. This is who we are. This is what we do. We communicate with our past and communicate with our future for the ones that are following. We
will always keep moving and evolving to survive, just like nature. Because if we do not, we will cease to exist. These are the words of my Nana Neksu, my old mum. And I was fortunate enough to have her in my life for many, many years, and my grandfather. And I just want to thank just all these other communicators, because that's who we are. We're communicators. We could use this word of artist, but I believe we're communicators, communicating with our roots and our past, and hope, my small contribution is that my child, my grandchild, or someone in our community may look at something and go, I really like this, but I want to do better. Keep it moving, keep it alive. This will be my small contribution, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my children. I'm thankful for family. Thankful for friends, chosen family. Kliko, kliko, usak shikles. Oh, chu.
Congratulations, Gordon. And now for tonight's third award. This artist's work carries an intimate ancestral connection, honoring her lineage as an Indigenous woman. It is my honor to introduce Polygon Award and First Nations art recipient Rebecca Baker-Grenier. And to present this award, please welcome back to the stage, Cloth Bay.
Wow. And now to speak of this beautiful young lady here and her works. Congratulations to you, Rebecca, and your achievements thus far. Sometimes you hit the stage in your life where suddenly you feel old. And I tell you a story about this beautiful young lady really quickly before we get on with what needs to happen, but it speaks to her integrity that goes into her artwork. She is part of our family, and a couple of years back we had a memorial potlatch for my late grandmother. And it was a beautiful occasion, and it was quite successful, and hearts were warm. And as part of being a host for a potlatch, when everybody's gone and has walked away, you stick behind and you start to clean up all the garbage and put things away and make sure you leave the house the way it was when you got there. And so, being the oldest grandson of my grandmother, I always made sure that I tried to lead the way she led us. And I was cleaning things up like this, and I'm like, oh, all of these hemlock boughs, I got to come down, and I got to stand up on something. And then it's like, all of a sudden I hear this voice, Uncle. I'm like, who's that? Uncle. I said, who's that? And I looked around and I looked, and here was Rebecca. And Rebecca said, Uncle, you've done enough. We'll take care of that. And I thought, oh my God, I love you. And it was at that moment I knew that I was getting old, that everywhere I go, people call me uncle. But, Rebecca, you weave the strength of stories of our ancestors into every design you create. It grounds your practice with fashion, honoring culture, tradition, while celebrating contemporary Indigenous expression, which was something that was strongly encouraged by my grandmother. And, you know, after hearing the story of Gordon as well by his grandmother about expressing and helping to spread the vibration of our artwork and our culture through the artwork and clothing. Your journey reflects both that dedication and vision. So I say to you, congratulations on your achievement. What a beautiful evening. Osiem. Gila kesa tokola.
Nugo am Hawilkwalas. My name is Rebecca Baker Grenier. I am Squamish, Kwagilth, and Musqueamouts Awadenu. As a young person, I didn't actually identify as an artist. I made regalia so that I could dance, so that I could wear it. I would make regalia for my family because we needed it. I'm working on a grass outfit for the powwow this weekend. Little thimbles that I made into bells. It's actually a fishing lure. My husband, Nigel, his family has a dance company named the Dancers of Da Mohammed. I was the regalia designer for their production, Raven Mother. A little spark was ignited within me. How can I represent stories? How can I use materials in a new way?
Rebecca, her family has been on the powwow highway for a long time. She understood constructing regalia, how these were made, how they were danced. Her first pieces represents Chilkat blankets. They're all tiny little coppers, utilizing symbols. It's a blend of old and new. Pieces that nobody's really done before.
Learning how to do the beadwork to look like weaving, that was a bit tricky to figure out. Pyramid beading, I thought it looked like warrior armor. When I put it together, it started to look like the rapids. The only thing is you can't really sit down. I like to incorporate our traditional styles of art, Chilkat design, formline design, ancestral materials, leathers, beads. The red, it reminds me a lot of red cedar bark. The pink reminds me a lot of the salmon. And even though those aren't colors that would be traditionally used for Chilkat, our ancestors have always innovated the art form. I like to think about how can I share a little bit of our history and how can I make a statement as a fashion designer. This piece is called She is a Cedar. The top is embellished with abalone buttons and some sparkly beads. I think it's really special that she's wearing it on these territories from where I'm from. So cool. We live such a fast-paced life. Going to the forest, going down to the river, those are the spaces where I really connect with my imagination. My most recent collection, Our Roots Run Deep, is inspired by the integral relationship between our waterways and our forest systems. This piece, the top has the salmon heads on it, and it runs into the river towards the bottom. The concept I have was to make a fishnet. It's meant to look like the salmon are under the layers of the water and swimming upstream. I imagine that these are like waterfalls, how it disperses at the bottom and goes to mist. It's our responsibility as stewards of the land to protect those waterways and the forests and the ecosystems, because that is where we come from. This piece is made from cedar shavings from a carving that my brother did. For Indigenous people, it's important for us to use everything. It's bringing that cedar back to life. I love it. Our masks, our regalia, it wasn't made to go on gallery walls. It was made to be danced and to have a life of its own, to return to the land one day. And I hope to leave it in a good place for the next generation. You want to make a sweater? Yeah. What number does that say?
14.
You're professional.
maybe.
When I see my kids playing in my sewing room, it reminds me of when I was a kid playing in my mom's sewing room. I hope that I am learning the skills, learning the art, so that I can pass it on to the next generation. One day, we will be the elders. Here, try it on your bunny now. Pretty cute.
The young individuals right now, I have never seen so many Native fashion designers. Rebecca, her pieces are being worn on the red carpet, shown in museums and Santa Fe Fashion Week. Now we're doing photo shoots together. Very proud. She'll be around for a long time, representing our people.
This is the L Canada edition. Indigenous designers were not often profiled in this way. Indigenous people have always been couturiers. We have always worked to refine our skills with incredible precision. That is really a testament to the strength of who we are as Indigenous people. When I wear my regalia, I feel the most proud and grounded in who I am. I want to create clothes that somebody can wear and they can feel proud, almost like you're carrying that armor with you. Kayla Kessler. They didn't show us these videos beforehand, and I knew I'd be emotional, so I wrote a speech on paper. It's a tremendous honor to receive this award, and I'm deeply humbled to be here tonight. Thank you to the BC Achievement Foundation, to the organizers, to the sponsors, and everybody who uplifts Indigenous art, our artists, and our cultures. When I was first thinking about this award, what first came to mind is the recognition this carries, not just for me, but my family, my communities, my culture, and everything that has shaped who I am as an artist. Much of my creative process takes place in solitude, but I always know I have an incredible support team behind me. Thank you to my husband, Nigel. You have always supported my dreams, no matter how ambitious they might have seemed. You've been the backbone to our family and a constant source of love and strength. And to our kids, Mika and Pisum, you inspire me to learn and to grow. I thank my sister Amanda, who has spent hours in my sewing room helping me to meet my deadlines. Thank you for being there and seeing me for who I am. To my parents, my mom, my dad, my stepdad, and my in-laws who are joining on from New Zealand, I'm grateful to my parents for your unwavering support and love. You have shaped who I am today. Thank you for guiding me and believing in me. To all my friends and family who have been there for me in any capacity, your support has kept me grounded, and I hold this moment with all of you. This award is much more than an individual achievement. I come from a long line of master artists, and my success is a testament to their strength. Across generations, in the face of colonialism and all that was meant to silence our voices and destroy our culture, our people remained resilient. They held on to our art, our stories, and our ways of knowing. Because of their courage and persistence, I stand here today, learning and practicing what they protected. For me, the work I do is much more than fashion and art. It is about the future. I carry a responsibility to continue our artistic practices with integrity so they may live on in my children and the generations yet to come. A little shameless plug, if you're available tomorrow, I have a runway show at Vancouver Indigenous Fashion Week. and on Sunday, another one in Whistler. Gayla Kessler.
Well done.
Congratulations, Rebecca. The final award presentation this evening is the 2025 Award of Distinction Designation. We are honored to have a number of alumni here this evening who have received this designation. If I can please ask Robert Davidson, Stan Bevan, and Willacton to stand. This year's Award of Distinction awardee exemplifies, how do I put this? I was on the jury last year for the Achievement Awards, and my other fellow jurists were surprised that Lawrence Paul had not received the award. And this year, again, and for some reason, I'm going to attribute it to being a new mother and not having enough sleep. I said, I'll go to his studio and ask him. So I wanted to say hawa to you because he was gracious enough to allow me to knock on his door on a rainy day and welcome me in. And I got to sit with him, and he will elaborate in his own words, but for myself, to say that one day I walked by, unbeknownst to me that it was your studio, and your door was open, and it was like looking into a studio of what I had seen in books of old European masters' studios of artwork on a scale that was just, took my breath away. And so fast forward, I found myself in his studio and talking to him about what his acceptance of this award would mean. And so I'm very grateful that you are here this evening. So it's It is my honor to welcome to the stage the recipient of this year's Award of Distinction designation, Lawrence Paul Yukwelapton Let's Loxtilton. And to present this year's award. It is such an honor to introduce one of the most respected and influential artists in this country. As the inaugural recipient of this designation in 2007, it is my honor to invite and welcome to the stage Robert Davidson. Before I ask Robert to say a few words about Lawrence, I want to mention that each awardee receives a medallion and matching lapel pin that are Robert's creations. Robert described their meaning as cultural hero, spirited, undaunted, fearless, bold, raising our awareness to a higher understanding. We hope those words resonate with each awardee because they capture the intent of all BC Achievement programs. Robert, it truly means a lot to stand here with you tonight.
My dear friends, it's a great honor to be here again to highlight and to honor up-and-coming artists and continued artists. I also received some speaking notes so I can be honorable to Lawrence Paul. We go back a long time. We were very young. The art was not as it is today when we started. In fact, for me, the art was the catalyst for me to learn of my history, and I feel the art is also the language, a universal language that speaks for generations. So I'll refer to the speaking notes I received from BC Achievement people. Congratulations, Lawrence. I'm going to use the English name. I don't want to have to fork out. I don't want to have to fork out some money to mess up your name.
That's no problem.
I am honored to present on behalf of BC Achievement this award of distinction, which honors your continued accomplishments in the art in British Columbia, and recognize you as one who has made a profound impact on our culture through your art. You are transforming the landscape for First Nations art in Canada with your Cowichan and Okanagan ancestry at the center of your practice. You've spent more than 4 decades using painting, installations, and performance to confront colonial history, expose injustices, assert Indigenous sovereignty. I feel in order to grab people's attention, the art that you've created over the years, it's like you were punching the colonialists in the belly. Wake up, we're part of this world. Your work is visually bold, politically fearless, and spiritually resonant. Your landmark exhibition, Unceded Territories, at UBC's Museum of Anthropology, marked a lifetime of courageous creation. You challenge us to look deeper, to see the truth, and reckon honestly with Canadian history. Tonight, we are honored to celebrate your accomplishments. On a personal note, when I first saw some of your paintings on the ovoids, I wanted to give you a little lesson on drawing ovoids. But over the years, I've learned to appreciate your work. So I stand with you. We've been on a canoe traveling together. It's been a real honor to, the few times our paths crossed, we've always had this beautiful connection. We didn't have to say too much, but it was always an honor to cross paths, and I was very honored to have been asked to present you with this award. Thank you. Ho'a. Now we go back to the video.
How do you extinguish an Indian, that he's no longer an Indian person? And what is he? I'm just here to record things the way it really is. You may not like it, but I enjoy painting it.
Lawrence Paul challenges what is contemporary art and what is Indigenous art. As a troublemaker, as an agitator, basically saying, fuck you.
Lawrence Paul, I'm talking to carvers. How do you carve a Native woman having an abortion? You can't using traditional methods. He had to find a way to express some of these difficult, complex issues, creating a new vocabulary. He has his own way.
The Spirit Walker. This is like surrealism and spiritualism and mythology. Indigenous people, they have never seen this before.
You have these little tiny figures in the landscape with the giant trees. You get this sense of solitude. It's native land. The land is living.
Lawrence Paul, he pushes himself, he pushes the form, and he certainly pushes viewers. The impending firestorm, Northwest Coast climate change, fucking creeps, they're environmental terrorists. His titles are incredible.
When I have an environmental landscape, Orange Man puking his guts out onto the landscape, it's an ugly picture.
This is pretty confrontational. Here's a bear on fire.
We paid an ultimate price of extermination. Residential school with the thousands of shallow graves. We're supposed to sit on colonial concentration camps.
Little colonial reservations in British Columbia. He's carved out the little reservations with the barren landscape. That's the truth.
Comprehensive land claims, cut-off lands. We have less than 1% of 1% of 1%. How much supremacy do you need? It's just ugly hate. So why not paint ugly hate? I like being a savage. Someday we might get along. This Super Predator series that I've been doing over the years defines Super Predator. Richest men in the world, stealing, squandering, taking all the minerals and resources, and they'll never be satisfied even with that. They are super predators. I have them in suits. The one on the far right could be like a pit bull or a bear, big teeth. He does look quite dangerous if he doesn't get his own way. There's always going to be a super predator wearing a red tie, claiming on behalf of others. The green face, the old dinosaur.
This guy has a split tongue. Fellow here with the shell tie on. This one here is Christy Clark.
Christy Clark and the Kinder Morgan Go-Go Girls. He's a funny guy. Men in suits. Fierce. Hard. Evil.
They're really ugly paintings because he's painting something that's ugly.
Biospheric land masses, tail end ponds, pulp mills, oil spills, all the salmon being destroyed. This is Canada. This is what it really looks like to me. I'm not making salvation art. These are the oppressors. Rich billionaire comes to save the world. Are they going to come and save the world? Not all of the things that I paint are depressing. I have to enjoy life. I make cultural paintings, literature paintings, ovoidism.
The Ovoid Project is about freedom of thought and expression. Ovoid, normally they're used with other elements to build a picture, but here they're completely set free. These are actually gel nail polish.
This is like pure joy. It's just playing with the form. Boy, that boy is not afraid of color.
Lawrence, his project was quite solitary for a long time, but he just never let go of that vision about what he wanted to do.
He had a huge exhibition, the Museum of Anthropology, and this huge other community of young people, emerging artists were just so excited to be there. It's been speaking to this whole new generation, to be able to tell their own stories in their own ways. It's inspiring.
I'm just an artist. I gaze upon the world at this time in history of life, economics, racism towards indigenous peoples. It's my job is the world. To see it, experience it, breathe it, live it, and say something. This is my homeland, our responsibility. Where do I start? Well, I'll start with my birth, my mother. Kamloops Hospital. Normal procedure. But it was a squad room. I was born out of segregation. I was born in 1957. After that, I grew up with time. It was against the law for natives to leave reserves. It was against the law for natives to have an education, to go past grade 12 education. My dad went to the Vatican to get an education, to get a university degree, and got it. And he came to the Kamloops Indian Residential School and taught. He went to residential school himself. Like him, I had the same burden. He got scurvy. They sat him down in a chair and tied his hands and tied his head. They proceeded to take all his teeth out. Resident school. With no anesthetic. Generational trauma. He didn't eat anything for 3 months. He just sipped through a straw and lived. God, he never survived. Colonizational stress disorder syndrome is real. I have 5 stents in my heart to prove it. I asked my grandma in the Okanagan, what was the hardest thing that hurt the most at residential school? She said dentist day. Rose, Lewis. I was always going up there into the interior, traveling around with my dad everywhere. But I always ended up on my grandma's, Ben Lewis's reserve, 6 Mile. These big rolling hills, hot climate. And I asked her, nobody was around. I finally got my grandmother by herself. And I asked her, she said, dentist day. I said, what do you mean by dentist day? He said, all the kids would line up in the gym, all up against the wall. And she said, the dentist would have the chair. They'd start the procedure in the morning. But they'd run out of anesthetic by noon. And that's when the screaming started. She said, you never heard so many girls screaming and crying, being tortured. And some of them, before they'd even get there, she said, they would pee themselves, girls, or they would pass out, faint. The boys would be standing there, she said, oh, it smelled like pee all along. We'd move along every time we'd take our turn. I didn't know this, but I had to ask. Trauma. You listen to all these words tonight. But I haven't spoken one word of Native. Because it was taken away. At the residential school. Every day is an orange day for every Indian. speech, but it's out from my heart. I asked once, I said, why are we having under the Indian Act in British Columbia? We never signed any treaties. We've never had any wars. We've never surrendered anything. So what is this province? British Columbia. I asked for the name change, and all the colonials got mad. And they said, they don't deserve this name, British Columbia. They never looked after it. I've gone all up and down this coast, and all on the island, and the interior. The world's biggest clear cut is in British Columbia. This whole province has become a big, giant clear cut. I had a hard time accepting this award. Just because of its name, I turned it down. But I did ask for a name change. Traditional Native Territories. And I kind of liked it. The abbreviation didn't go very well. You know, I've always had a way of conniving words. I've taken your language, I can speak it really well. And I use it. My mother helped formalize, work with the Native Homemaker Association. Father formalized the Union of BC and Chiefs. I spent a lot of time just living with my dad and traveling to all these meetings. So my life was a lot different than after these episodes of residential school and changed the law for me to go to public school when I was 6. And so I went from the Kamloops Senior Residential School, then I went to the Brockvillers Public School. I went from a segregated system to a public school system where I was a minority. So I went from one segregation to another. My dad had to have his friend buy his house because they wouldn't allow my dad to buy a house in Kamloops, so he had to have his one house. He belonged to the Knights of Columbus, and he got one of his friends. We grew up with that stuff. The Knights of Columbus, we would take his hat, his sword, and we'd go play around with it, hang around the house. And we were pretending we were pirates or whatever. But they were a group of people that were interested in dealing with things. And so I accepted that, and so they helped him, my dad out. And they got him a house, and then we moved there. And then I moved to Richmond. And my dad was traveling because they needed someone to be a counselor, vocational counselor. So he got a job at Department of Affairs. He tried getting a job anywhere as a teacher, but they wouldn't hire him because he was a native. My dad was a big influence. I would see him writing letters to John Chrétien, and we'd talk to him. I asked him about the veterans. And I said, you know, those Indians, they went to that war, that big war. He said, yeah. But they had to sit on their reservations for all those years after. We're not allowed to leave the reservation. They didn't acknowledge them. They didn't give them a right to vote. And I asked my dad, I said, well, who was he shooting? Why did those Indians go there and shoot that guy? did say, you know, he says, was he shooting the right person? My dad looked and says, don't be like that. That's the situation that we live in. They went to that war for nothing. We were interned and prisoners. We're prisoners of this country and dog democracy. We're on 1%, less than 1% of 1% of this province. They're open air prisons. There's no equality, right? I am 68 in 2 days. My sister phoned me and said, Lars, brother, you have surpassed the life expectancy of an Indian for 2 years now. Congratulations, you've lived this long. I've lived longer than my dad. And I'm happy for that, and he's proud of me. Influences, you'd be surprised. When they legally changed the law that I could go to a public library in Kamloops, I went there. The evidence is there in Kamloops because it was in their newspaper. They took a picture of this little boy opening up these books. You know what I was looking at? Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Northwest Coast, this book of all these pictures of Northwest Coast. But I was looking at everything. Cézanne, Matisse, Goya, Bruegel, Bosch. I just liked the art. My first training of art was the students that my dad was teaching to carve, because he was a carver. They gave me a little piece of wood. They took it to a bandsaw and they cut these little nicks out. And I started to carve this Thunderbird. When I was 6, it was my first piece of art. I've enjoyed art. I was born for this. It's a gift. I had straight A's in art. I went to Emily Carmen, graduate honors. I averaged A's. It was a piece of cake. I loved every minute of it. So I fell asleep a few times in art history, but doesn't everybody? I graduated and my instructors asked me they wanted to do my review. So they came to my space and they said, Lawrence, you've been working all year in the last 4 years or so, you're graduating this year, and we want to see all your work. They're looking at me and they go, you have nothing. And I looked up the guys, Featherston, some of the other, Ken Wallace, other instructors, European instructors, and I said, I sold it all. And they're looking at me and they go, what? And so I said, okay, I'll tell you what, guys. I'll bring you down to the Bridge Pub and I'll buy you a beer and we can discuss my art. And we can drink. And so we went down there and I met them all. And then I said to them, you know, you can ask for anything. They said, okay, well, soldier, where'd you get it for? He said, you know, okay, I'll put it this way. You guys can sit here and get piss-ass drunk for a whole month, and you can drink here every day with me from 9 to 7 for a whole month, and I can still afford to pay my rent. And so they never, I got an A after that. Not because I bought them here, because they taught me how to be an artist. I learned how to build canvases. I learned everything about painting. They taught me what color was. They did a great job as a modernist. But all the time that I was there, I would go down to the bar with Glenn Woods, who was apprentice. He was a great person. He taught me things when I was young. He was a great carver because he showed me what not to do. One of his friends was doing coke, and I didn't know. And I said to him, why is he, does he have a cold or something? And he said, no, he's going to the bathroom, he's doing coke all the time. So that was one of the artists, native artists. Then he met another one he showed me was an argillite and a silver carver. Had magnificent work. And he said, well, that's nice stuff. You got to remember the time that it was. This person liked heroin. So Glenn Woods taught me what not to do. And I learned from Bo Dick what to smoke. I would part. He had the same birthday as mine, so these stories that I tell are true. The day I went to Bo Dick's studio, and there was this haze in this room, full of marijuana. You know. I never inhaled. And it was amazing, because we were young men, and I was always influenced by everyone. And so I asked, what are you guys doing? So we're hot dogging it. I said, well, what's that? He goes, Bo puts down his mask, picks up this piece of wood, puts a line in the center, put the center line in, puts a crisscross on it for the eyes, then another one for the mouth, and takes his adze, chopping the heck out of this piece of wood. Then he turns around and passes it to the next person. So there was about 30 people in that room carving. Just watching this. So by the end of the day, there was another young man came in, he had a pair of blue jeans and a white t-shirt. He says, what are you guys all up to? He says, we're just finishing this mask. So they said, okay. Bo says to him, you were going to go down to Hills and sell this mask. He says, why me? He says, well, look at us. We're all dirty. We got all this sawdust on our cells. We've been sanding all day. We've been working our asses off, and so you have to get on that. So, Bo signs the piece, and he goes and brings it to Hills. And he said, okay, I'll meet you tonight at the building. Fine. So that was the night. And then I go there about 10 o'clock, and Bo Dick's there, and there's about 15 of us carvers, artists. And a guy comes in and says, calls him over, and he comes over and says, you're gives Bo the money. And Bo goes like this and calls the waiter over. He goes, 14 jugs, 20 glasses, and then Bo pays the guy. Bo goes, cheers to hot dogging. I've been influenced by a lot of the Northwest Coast. I never trained, but I was there with them. I've seen what they did. I've seen what Robert did. I've seen what Lyle Wilson did. The Hands, Richard Atkinson, Tony Hunt, Norman Tate. I've seen them. I walked with them. I've seen what they were doing. But I always had a bad habit of breaking the rules. As Robert would say, my old ones. But it was, the old voidism was about, what do you do when a priest has a stick of dynamite in his hand and he's got all these children at the residential school and he throws it into their culture and blows it all up? How are you going to put it back together? What is it going to look like? Or what's left? And it's like, and then there's the Indian Act at the same time. Can an Indian have an existential thought under the Indian Act in this country? When you have CSIS Canada, the RCMP, arresting all those kids that ran away from those residential schools and bringing them back. But how do you take these thoughts that are just thoughts? So I deconstructed, reconstructed an existential thought. And it gave me the idea. I was working one night and I drew out these ovoids. I took a template and I had a whole page of these books and I started sketching out, and then I said, well, I'll finish it. I'll draw the Northwest Coast designs after. And so I had about 75, 200 drawings. And then I woke up the next morning, I opened the book, and there was nothing. And I'm looking at it going, just leave it. Just leave it alone. So I broke the rules again. That's how I created ovoidism. I was hot dogging. Moving really fast. Creating really fast. And I had a lot of fun. Not everything is, I'm not here to headbang everybody about land claims and usufructuary right. Not to worry. I mean, I'm from the island, so if I go out to Richmond and I run for chief and council, and I take all of Richmond, I'm not going to kick everybody out. I won't displace all of them. We're already displaced onto reservations. But it's how are we together going to emancipate all of us? I want to be a free human being. This really has a lot of weight to it. And it's a burden. This document. It doesn't give me rights. It forces all of us of us native people to little concentration camps and turned open-air prisons. You don't give me rights. This doesn't save my rights. Some Indians say it's the only rights that we have. Canada signed the Geneva Convention, self-determination, self-government, self-rule. If they're not going to live up to this, you can't act like an apartheid system, your own private little British Columbian apartheid. Forever. We don't need reservations for another 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 years from now. Do we need these things? Do you need to have us? Do you need to oppress us? To keep us confined, prisoners, on reservations, and limit my human rights in this country? That's why I shot the damn thing. See the bullet holes? A performance piece. An Indian act shooting the Indian act. I have Indians coming up to me and shaking my hand going, with bullets and lead shot at me. And they always respect me and honor me for doing that. I'm not here to threaten this country. I want people to get along. I want to end the Indian Act. I want freedom for all Native people in this province. So I may be asking for the name change of Vancouver to Salish. I don't like the name Vancouver. Salish has a nice ring to it. But I'll keep trying. I think that's what my job is, to talk to this world. I know what my dad did, what he couldn't do. He understood what I was doing when I was at the National Gallery in 1992. And he finally said, I understand you, son. He says, you want to talk to the world. These are world problems. Indigenous peoples, New Zealand, Australia, South America. Those are my brothers and sisters. It has to change. If we take this position to say that this is Aboriginal land, we tax all these places here, the resources will be shared amongst all of us. It doesn't have to go to Ottawa. We'll all become wealthy. The chiefs have to give up the position of staying under the Indian Act. Self-determination. Arthur Manuel was a great person. He was one of my best friends. I learned a lot from him. George Manuel, Bill Wilson. I met a lot of these leaders. And they taught me a lot. But I've combined two of these things in life, art and somewhat politics. But I've enjoyed it. Nobody's perfect. I don't make the perfect old boy. Right? It's true. I have made some of the crookedest, Northwest Coast salmon trout motifs that have ever been crooked. But I had fun doing it. To make these landscapes, land plains. So I've taken both worlds, native one. When I was a young man, I became a Swahili mass dancer. I became a blackface dancer in Musqueam and in Capilano. I have tradition. I only just lost the language, but I have intact my culture and embraced it. As much as I played 20, 30 years of hockey in Richmond, played baseball, hit a home run once when I was 14. Played baseball. I played hockey in my hometown in Captain, Alberta, for my own native hockey team. I played on the native all-star team for this province. So I've enjoyed what I do in many ways. And I think that's what life is about. I think I have seen a lot of art in the Northwest Coast and all over, across Canada. Carl Bean, different artists, native artists, across this country. I enjoyed that. But I still went to Madrid and seen the Garden of Delights. I went to Amsterdam and I've seen the Night Watchman. I went to go see the statue of David. I went to Switzerland and seen the Dada's. I went to Paris. I seen the work there. Been in London. I seen the work there. There's still places that I like to see. There's still art that I like. Rembrandt is one of my favorites. I sketch in pen and ink, but I like it. I enjoy pen and ink. Drawing is a measurement of what you do. I'm going to try some new stuff. I'm still learning. I bought some silver point equipment, and I'm going to try and do like Michelangelo. I have things to do that I want to create. I'm working on a series of literature pieces. I've got this one, carrot. Just the word carrot. And people look at it and they start to shut. They know what it is. It's just a word. I have another one, different words that I use. And I'm creating these pieces. Eventually, I'll have enough for a show. But they take time. I'm not always working on certain styles. I'm still investigating. I've got this big canvas that I've been talking. It's taken me 3 years. But I did get the canvas built. And it's one word. Fentanyl. Part of my life, my daughter passed away from it. A lot of people have died from this, but it's a world epidemic. But I have to do this. It's not easy to lose a loved one. takes time. You put your heart and soul into work. You can simply cry in your work. It's life. I want you all to experience what it is to be a native in this country. If I suffer, we all suffer. If an Indian's taken out on a starlight ride, you all take us out on the starlight ride. If you starve the killer whale, we all have a hard time as natives. 600 million salmon brought down to 40 million. And I'm concerned about the killer whale. Is it necessary as colonialists to exterminate the killer whale that we've worshipped and idoled? Will that quench the thirst of this world? Do you need to kill them all? Is it that necessary? That hurts. That gives a lot of pain. I had a hard time with the Truth and Reconciliation when they found those kids, camels. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Because I went there. And I know that my friend, when I was walking down the gravel road, going to the classroom, and the next day she passed away. I know kids died at residential school because I was there. That's my life. It's my job. It's a dirty job, I would say. Somebody has to do it sometimes. Not everything is beautiful. Some things are. I like painting trees in the sunset. I did a painting with red moon because I seen one and I go, but it's like this is all Indian land. And I heard this quite a few times and I said, what does it look like? And so I painted it. And that's why I guess it's symbolism, modernism. I think that's what I enjoy. So if it's a glimpse into what I said tonight, who I am, what I am. I walk together with all these other Native artists. We all go down our paths and our journeys to create. I like Richard Atkins' book. He showed me a sketchbook when we were drinking in the bar and he got to come to the studio. And he showed me these frogs that were leaping out of these pages in traditional Northwest Coast. And after I looked at his book, I closed it. I said, I'm never going to look at that again. It was too, I would say, overwhelming. It was too influencing to what I wanted to do. So I liked it from a distance. Like I liked Robert's work from a distance. Norman Tate's, Tony Hunt. I've always enjoyed the North. I did slag them from time to time, but I was a young man. But we're always, when we're young, we're always flexing and creating, designing. So my education is a lot different from the Northwest Coast. I was sitting in a bar with a bunch of carvers and weavers. That's how I learned art. And I went to the LA Car. I'm a modernist. I'm here for now, right now. If there's a clear cut I'm going to look at, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm still going to paint it. I'm still looking for mouse. So, I'll take it for what it is. I do love the arts. It just seems to be the world of art that I like. I think I kind of said what I wanted to say. So, Bella, thank you for all the comments. Oh yeah, I did say I would try not to swear tonight, so I did okay. Oh yeah, yeah, really.
Congratulations to all of tonight's awardees. What a powerful and inspiring evening. Every time I witness this ceremony, I'm reminded that the strength of First Nations art lies not only in the work itself, but in the relationships that sustain it, between teacher and student, artist and community, generation to generation. Each of you honored tonight carries that strength forward in your own way, helping to define what First Nations art looks like today, grounded in tradition and always evolving. You can support the important work of the BC Achievement Foundation in 3 ways: elevate, nominate, donate. Donate at any time on the BC Achievement website, which is also where you can nominate artists from your communities for the 2026 awards. Nominations are now open. They are open all year long for each of BC Achievement's 5 award programs. You can use the QR code on your table or visit bcachievement.com/nominate-now. And that brings us to the close of this year's celebration. I want to thank the BC Achievement Foundation, its board, Roop, Catherine, and the entire team for their dedication to uplifting artists and sharing these stories. And a warm shout out to Lon Gross for elevating the awardees' stories through the magic of film. To Polygon Homes, thank you. To our guests, thank you for being with us, for bearing witness, for celebrating, and for supporting the artists who keep our cultures vibrant and alive. If tonight has moved you, as it has me, I invite you to take the feeling home with you, share these stories, support First Nations art in your communities, nominate someone for next year's awards. The strength of these programs comes from all of us, the artists, the supporters, the friends who keep showing up to celebrate creativity and excellence in this province. On behalf of everyone at BC Achievement, thank you for joining us. May the inspiration you've felt tonight continue to grow and ripple outward in your communities. Congratulations once again to all of the 2025 Polygon Award recipients. Good night.